Welcome to this week's Movie Math, where Hollywood also went swimming this Memorial Day weekend in a giant bucket of money. As Tinseltown Titans, Universal, and Warner Brothers fought it out at the box office, their blows resulted in the biggest overall haul for Memorial Day weekend ever, $317 million, which easily tops 2011's record haul of $276 million. 2 years ago, it was The Hangover Part 2 and Kung Fu Panda 2 which impressed, but this year it was Fast and Furious 6 that kicked things into high gear. Yes, it appears Universal's franchise is running on NOS itself, pulling in $120 million over the 4-day weekend, and that's just domestic. Worldwide, Vin Diesel and his crew made off with $317 million, which is the same record-breaking number as the entire North American box office for the same holiday weekend. As I reported last week, Fast 7 is already racing towards us with a July 2014 release date, and might very well drive on for eternity if it continues to consistently top itself like this. And remember, while the cars in the movies might be pimped out, Fast 6 itself is doing all of this without 3D or IMAX. While that does mean it's unlikely Fast 6 will join the billion-dollar club, it will be interesting to see how close it gets. Fast 5 pulled in $626 million worldwide. It'll also be interesting to see if the other studios finally realize that a huge part of the Fast and Furious franchise's success is its diverse cast, as 49% of the audience was female, 32% Latino, and evenly split in terms of older and younger viewers. Meanwhile, as Fast 6 posted a franchise high, The Hangover Part 3 posted a franchise low, with around $50 million for the holiday weekend and $63 million since it opened on Thursday. This is the second week in a row that a Thursday release has failed to jumpstart a film's box office numbers, and we'll have to wait and see if this is the End's Wednesday release will help it get out in front of Man of Steel in 3 weeks. We'll also have to wait and see if these low numbers really do signal the end of the Wolf Pack, or if Warner Brothers will blame Fast 6 in an effort to keep their formerly lucrative franchise alive. But encouraging news for Star Trek Into Darkness fans, as the sequel only fell around 30% in its second weekend. 3D and IMAX surcharges are allowing it to keep pace with the 2009 film, and worldwide it's currently at $258 million. As for Epic, it opened pretty much as expected with about $42 million for the 4-day weekend and a worldwide take of around $86 million. It's got about a month to grab as much cash as possible before audiences are set to enroll at Disney Pixar's Monsters University. Rounding out the top 5 is Iron Man 3, which is climbing the all-time chart with a vengeance. If Marvel Studios can take both numbers 3 and 4 on the all-time list, there is no denying it will be a major feather in their cap. Although, at the same time, it's setting the bar awfully high for the Robert Downey Jr. list, Thor: The Dark World, and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Guardians of the Galaxy might feature Downey, but the longer Disney and Marvel wait to get that contract signed, the more invaluable he seems to become. As for this coming weekend, box office numbers are expected to come back down to earth, as Will Smith is anticipated to underwhelm and Jesse Eisenberg impress. So this Memorial Day weekend, like most of America, I had to choose between Fast 6 and The Hangover Part 3. And like most of America, I chose Fast 6. And I am confident that I made the right decision, because I had so much fun seeing this movie. Now granted, the Fast and Furious franchise, not big on story. Basically, their job is just kind of like to get you back in the groove, reintroduce the character, set up the mission, and then let it ride. And kudos to the franchise for realizing that that's what it's all about, because they do it very well. It's so well, in fact, that this really, I do agree with what the critics are saying and what audiences are saying. This is the best of the franchise, and they just get better and better. And I think that's attributable to Justin Lin. Which leads me to say that for overall, watching this movie, I had 2 epiphanies, and the first is about Justin Lin. He really has, developed as an action director. And when I was watching the film and I saw how he set up each race with these great sweeping aerial shots and, great music selection, great, really good editing. I mean, the scenes just came together really well. And I thought to myself, poor James Wan. He's the horror director taking over for Fast 7. And it's just, he has no action experience. And it's crazy to me that Universal would, just have this movie accelerating, this franchise accelerating it more and more and more, and then almost, apply the brakes a little bit by bringing in a director who needs really to learn on the job. And I don't understand why Hollywood continues to do that. I think it's a huge mistake. Let someone learn somewhere else and then you utilize them afterwards. But Universal obviously doesn't want to risk this franchise, so I'm going to try and have a little faith with them, because I do like James Wan quite a bit as a filmmaker, and personally, I got to interview him at New York Comic Con. He's a really, really cool guy. The other epiphany was that Fast and Furious is basically Pixar's Cars for adults. Especially, if you've seen the film, there's the scene where Dom and Letty meet up after a race, and at first, before they get out of their cars, the camera pans up and it's just their two cars sitting there, and it just struck me, and I was just like, that's hilarious. Audiences love cars, at any age. And speaking of Dom and Letty, this is a surprisingly romantic movie. I really liked the work that Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez did, but also Sung Kang and Gal Gadot, I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name, but they were also a really wonderful couple. And so, spin-off movie, I would go see it. And speaking of spin-off movies, The Rock really did a great job here. I covered Fast 7, and I talked about the fact that maybe he might not be able to be in the film, but I'm sure Universal will find a way, because he's such a huge selling point for this franchise, especially the end scene on the airplane. I don't want to give any spoilers, but there's this scene where he just comes in and he punches a guy out of nowhere, and it was so hard, and The Rock has gotten himself so big that it just made me laugh out loud. I had the same reaction in Fast 5 when he was chasing Dom across the rooftops in Brazil, and he burst through the side of the building, and I think he's as close to the Hulk as you can get in real life. He's fantastic. I really like the work that he did. But in terms of great action stars, there's a lot of talk about Gina Carano possibly being Wonder Woman, and I asked people in the audience review if they thought she could play Wonder Woman, and everyone said, oh yeah, she definitely has the moves. And I have to agree, she really has some great moves, good action scenes here, really good fighting. But if a franchise like Fast and Furious, which is not known for its acting, doesn't trust Gina Carano enough to give her any lines, or to cut her lines in the editing room, I don't possibly see how Warner Brothers can give her an entire film. And so if they are going to cast Gina Carano, it worries me, because it makes me feel that Wonder Woman's not going to be have her own movie and be a main character, but will be a side character that comes in, throws the smack down, and then lets the guys do the talking. And that would be unfortunate, because Michelle Rodriguez held her own against Gina Carano. So I feel a lot of actresses can pull off the Wonder Woman role, and both the action side that Gina Carano can bring, but hopefully also on the acting side as well. So I really couldn't recommend Fast 6 highly enough. It's a great turn-your-mind off summer flick. And I'm excited. I'm very excited for Fast 7, which will, Vin Diesel, The Rock, and Jason Statham. I mean, that's just, James Wan can't mess that up. So those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching my review. Thanks for everyone who asked for it. And thanks for watching Movie Math. And I hope you'll check out some other videos. Bye.